From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Monday, November 18th. It's a mild Monday. Lots of clouds out there. Rain chances are going to increase throughout the day. Highs reaching the mid-60s. Enjoy it, because we're going to get a major cool down later this week. Breaking news, Spirit Airlines has filed for bankruptcy protection. The biggest budget airline in the country says it will use a prearranged Chapter 11 bankruptcy to reorganize. Spirit has lost more than $2.5 billion since 2020, struggling to recover from the drop in travel during the pandemic. Spirit operates flights to several cities out of Indianapolis. The airline says it will continue operating during its bankruptcy and that people traveling will be able to book and fly without interruption. Police in Dallas say they're looking for whoever fired at least one gunshot at a Southwest Airlines plane as it was about to take off for Indianapolis. It happened Friday night at Dallas Love Field Airport. Investigators say the plane was on the terminal prepared for takeoff when a bullet hit the plane's cockpit. No one was hurt, but one passenger who later arrived here in Indianapolis tells us he's shaken up.
I think that's pretty dangerous, and I feel airport is supposed to be safer these days with all the things going on around. To think about, some people somewhere lurking around, shooting at planes, that's very dangerous, and that's something the authorities need to look at and do something about, and fast.
Dallas police say it is not clear where the gunfire came from or if the plane was the intended target. Religious leaders are asking Governor Eric Holcomb to stop an upcoming execution. Joseph Corcoran is scheduled to die in 1 month, 25 years after he was sentenced in a murder case. News 8's Hernan Gutierrez is at the state capitol with this story.
It's been 15 years since the state put someone to death. Since then, back in June, Governor Eric Holcomb and Attorney General Todd Rokita announced that the state would resume the practice and that Joseph Corcoran would be the first person put to death by the state since 2009. Now, religious leaders are calling on the governor to step in and for the state to stop the practice before they even resume it. A group of them gathered here outside the State House yesterday to protest Corcoran's upcoming execution. Corcoran was convicted and sentenced to death in 1999 for killing 4 people, his brother, his sister's fiance, and 2 friends in 1997. His attorneys argue that his life should be spared because of mental illness. A series of legal challenges and a lack of pentobarbital, the drug needed for lethal injections, have delayed his execution. Yesterday's protesters say that the death penalty is expensive and that the state hasn't been transparent about where it's getting the drug.
Absolutely not necessary. One thing that I always say about our governors is that they have an option not to kill. Why do they choose to kill? It's the same way the killers chose to kill.
The federal prison system and 14 other states use pentobarbital to carry out executions. However, state leaders in Indiana have not said who is supplying it and how much it costs, citing state laws that protect suppliers. According to Indiana State Supreme Court documents, Corcoran's execution is set to be before the sun rises on December 18th. That's a month from today. Reporting in Indianapolis, I'm Hernan Gutierrez for WishTV.com. Follow us on Facebook for updates.
Here in Indianapolis, police say a person of interest is detained for a deadly shooting at an apartment complex downtown. Happened just before 1 yesterday afternoon at the Elan Apartments on East Market Street. Police say the victim died at that scene. So far, investigators have not said what led to the shooting. In Fort Wayne, police say a man is under arrest for firing shots, killing a woman, and wounding 2 other people outside a club. Police say it happened early Saturday morning outside the Showgirl 1 Club on Gordon Road. Officers say they think the shooting stemmed from a fight in the nightclub's parking lot. Fort Wayne police say Rashawn Smith was taken into custody for the shooting. He faces preliminary charges of murder, attempted murder, and criminal recklessness. Advocates for cyclists and pedestrians are urging everyone to keep each other safe on the streets. Bike Indianapolis held a vigil at Luger Plaza Sunday for World Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims.
We're asking anyone, no matter how you're traveling through the city, to be paying attention, be mindful that everyone's trying to get to their destination safely, and that's what we're trying to move towards together as a city.
Bike Indianapolis also called on the city to approve a plan to put $8 million into an annual fund to fight traffic safety problems. AAA projects Americans will set a new travel record this weekend. Analysts suggest more people than ever will be on the roads this week. News 8's Brittany Noble reports that the Thanksgiving holiday is getting longer.
Well, this year's AAA's forecast includes the Tuesday before and the Monday after Thanksgiving Day. Analysts say this will capture the full flow of travelers. In Indiana, 11% more people are flying compared to 2019. International flights are also up 23%. Most people will drive with gas prices lower than usual. We do have our photojournalist, that is Jeff Clayton. He is keeping an eye on the roads for you as always. It's relatively quiet right now. He's heading along I-70, headed toward the airport, but NREX, they report that the heaviest traffic next week will occur on Tuesday and Wednesday afternoons. AAA also suggests the ideal time to drive is on Thanksgiving Day, when highways and interstates are usually less congested. I'm Brittany Noble reporting for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
4 people, including a firefighter, are hurt after a fire in Connersville. It broke out early yesterday morning in the Town Terrace apartments. Connersville Fire Department says 2 people who lived there got hurt jumping from a balcony, and another needed treatment after inhaling smoke. No specifics on the injury to the firefighter, but the department describes all the injuries as minor. No word yet also on what started that fire. New on Daybreak, check your fridge. The CDC says there's an E. coli outbreak linked to organic carrots. The agency says the outbreak has already caused 1 death and made dozens of other people sick in 18 states, none so far here in Indiana. The carrots were sold under a number of brands at Trader Joe's and several other stores. Officials say there is a recall and they are no longer in the stores, but they might still be in your home. Baby carrots linked to the outbreak have a use-by date from September 23rd to November 12th. The whole carrots have a use-by date from August 14th to October 23rd. You can find the full list of brands of those carrots, what they were sold under and where, on our website, wishtv.com, in the Health Spotlight section. The cabinet picks of President-elect Donald Trump are making national headlines, but our political analysts say they will have a local impact too. Our Phil Sanchez talked to them on this week's episode of All Indiana Politics.
Well, why does it matter? I mean, the federal government touches every part of our lives. It touches what happens at the border, which impacts who is in our state and states around us. HHS impacts everything from our health care to our vaccines to FDA and drug approval, and whether you can have drugs approved, under what conditions you can have them approved, whether you can have things like vitamins of certain sorts. So all of these agencies reach clear into our lives, and that's the result of the last several decades of the federal government growth. I think that's the interesting experiment that's going on with Trump is he trying to arrest that growth? Is he trying to attack corporate capture and some of the regulatory capture that's gone on? Whether it succeeds or fails, I don't know, but they're certainly undertaking the initiative.
Kip, same question.
Well, I guess I want to hit on another couple of cabinet posts. The Secretary of Defense has a white nationalist tattoo on his arm. You've just got a whole mess of people that can only be described as, people who are loyal to Donald Trump, and that's all that matters to Donald Trump as someone who's going to do his bidding. If Matt Gaetz becomes the Attorney General, the rule of law is out the window, and I think it's a very, very bad sign for our democracy.
All Indiana Politics airs every Sunday morning at 9:30 on Wish TV. In Colts Watch, a 3-game losing streak is over through the arm and legs of Anthony Richardson. His touchdown with less than 1 minute left lifted the team to a win over the Jets. Richardson ran for another touchdown earlier and passed for one. Colts moved to 5-6 on the season with a 28-27 victory. Richardson's return ends 2 weeks in exile. News 8's Andrew Chernoff caught up with the quarterback and the head coach after the game.
All of Indy's 5 victories this season have been one-possession games, and this one was no different, but it did feel different. Indy knew it had one chance to get down the field in the final minutes and score a touchdown, and it did just that. Fittingly also, it was the man who's been in the headlines all week long, Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson, who scored that game-winning touchdown after being renamed the starter just this past Wednesday.
Great team win. Obviously, these games come down to the wire a lot of times, but the resilience of our group was phenomenal there. Great drive at the end by Anthony and the rest of our guys to go down and score. You know, the way he played, the way he battled today was phenomenal. We got to keep it rolling.
The emotions were definitely at an all-time high. You know, I knew we scored, and we had already talked about on the sideline about going for 2, but I was just so geeked up that we scored. I was just over there celebrating so long. But, man, it's a blessing that we just had the opportunity to just on that last drive. You know, shout out to AP for, running and trusting me, making that happen. Shout out to Josh, for turning his head and getting the ball in his hands. And the O-line, great protection, all day. So, just great victories for us.
You could tell just how much this victory meant to Anthony Richardson. I actually saw him walking off the field and into the locker room. Plenty of hugs were given to him as he was entering that locker room, and you could feel the emotion on everyone, just happy for their starting quarterback. Inside MetLife Stadium, Andrew Chernoff, Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
The Pacers go into tonight's game against the Raptors with some heat after yesterday's win at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Indiana beat the Miami Heat 119-110 on Sunday. It comes after the team fell by 13 to Miami on Friday in the first game of the NBA Cup. Head coach Rick Carlisle says it was a good comeback.
It was a great response. We're trying to grow as a team, grow as a young team, and learn that, you don't want to have to respond all the time. You want to be the ones hitting first. And, for the most part tonight, we were. Miami's a great comeback team. And, I just thought, our guys kept their poise very, very well and continued to play. And we made enough plays down the stretch to get some separation.
Pacers play again tonight in Toronto. Tip-off is at 7:30.
Split, $200,000 each. Henry Silver from Indiana for Bell Sessions. Let's go, Henry! Come on, Henry!
That's the moment a Fishers native, Henry Silver, hits a 33-yard field goal during ESPN's College Game Day kicking contest at the University of Georgia. Silver is a student there and took the kick for another student who won a raffle to take it but felt she couldn't make it. They split $400,000. Pat McAfee donated another $400,000 to hurricane relief as part of the contest. College Game Day will be in Columbus, Ohio, Saturday ahead of the IU and Ohio State game. IU's historic football season means a big pay raise and commitment for the head coach. The school says Curt Cignetti has agreed to an 8-year contract extension through 2032. The contract will raise Cignetti's average pay to $8 million a year with an additional annual $1 million retention bonus. Cignetti has led the Hoosiers to the first 10-win season in school history. They are undefeated and ranked number 5 in the country. Indiana travels to Columbus on Saturday to take on number 2, Ohio State. For the second straight year, the Marching Black and Gold from Avon High School win the title for the top marching band in the country. Avon took the top prize Saturday night at the Bands of America Grand National Championships at Lucas Oil Stadium. The victory comes 1 week after Avon won its 17th state marching band championship. The Marching Greyhounds from Carmel High School also finished second at the Grand Nationals on Saturday. Castle High School from Newburgh, down in Warwick County, finished 9th. A local racing Hall of Famer is a new dad. Tony Stewart and his wife, fellow racer Leah Pruitt, have a new baby boy. Stewart's racing team posted a picture of the couple with the baby, Dominic James. The post says, only Tony could pull off qualifying, rushing to Phoenix to make it in time for the delivery, then back to Pomona Drag Strip for race day. Congratulations to both of them. This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordell. Watch us on wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook for updates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.